Hello guys, it's Cobradvs here, and it is time for another review. I realized that I hadn't really done a review in a long time. I've been focusing more on the little series, like the Sega vs. Nintendo and the Quest for the Best Movie Game, so I'm going to get back to just doing a review. And this is a long overdue review, and I can't believe I haven't done it, but it is a review of the Sega 32X. Now, since I recently made my choice to basically collect Sega only for a little while, that will include the 32X, and I've been looking up some 32X stuff, and it's really an interesting console, and I figured a review of it would be great. So a little backstory in the 32X. It came out in December of '94, just in time for the November of '94, I believe, just in time for the Christmas season. But it didn't fare too well. And it didn't fare too well for a few reasons. The first reason was the Sega Saturn was said to come out in just a few months. I think it was 6 was the year, was the amount. So why get stuck to this? Now, what it was supposed to do was enhance the lifespan of the Genesis, because the Super Nintendo was slowly taking control of the market. And it did what it was supposed to do in a few ways, but it failed overall. First off, it added a new library to the games, and with a 32-bit processor, essentially it was a 32-bit console. But the cons outweigh the pros in this situation, and as you'll see later, it was really a design flaw and a big flop on Sega's part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you hooking up the Sega 32X, and then we'll look at some gameplay, and I'll give you a little final verdict, guys. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the console itself. Here it is. Here is the Sega 32X. And for size comparison, I'll put up a Genesis game. It's one of the EA games. It's about a little taller than an EA game, and fairly wide. I'd say it measures across 7 or 8 inches, and it's probably 4 inches, 5 inches high. Alright, so the front here, it says Genesis 32X. Here's your cartridge slot. Now this cartridge slot takes both Genesis and 32X games. The sides, there are 2 vents here. One here too. And in the back is where the problems start. Here's the AV out. This is the plug that goes to your TV. Here is the AV in. This is the plug that goes to your Genesis. And here's the power. Yep, that's right. It has its own power adapter. So that's 2 power adapters and several cords. So I'm going to show you how to hook this beast up to 2 systems. The first is going to be the Model 1 Genesis. And here it is right here. You can see now the Model 1 is excuse me, is quite a bit different from the Model 2. So Sega did make some adjustments to the 32X. Now the 32X basically is made for a Model 1. It fits right in here. It fits flush and perfect. And to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. It looks decent. Now here on the side, this is where there's usually a cover here, and under that cover is a little red slip that says, like, please do not remove. Well, I've removed mine because the 32X comes with this. This is it's a little thing that goes here. It goes right over where the Sega CD attachment goes. There we are. And it's supposed to increase the workability, I suppose is the word, of the 32X. Supposed to make it work better. Whether it does is up to you. Okay, so next, here is the 32X, and here it is on the back of a Genesis Model 1. Now, I'm going to show you how to hook this beast. Okay, so here you've got the, let me just get the camera right. Here you've got the 32X on the Model 1 Genesis. Back here, Model 1 Genesis has the AV, or the power adapter slot the AV out, the RF out, the channel switch, and I don't really know what this is, but I've never used it, so not a big deal. Now, here is the cord that the 32X comes with. This cord here, if you see the ends, the end of this cord is made for a Model 2 Genesis. That's right, though it's shipped with this cord, well, let me say this, it sits flush with the Model 1 Genesis, but it's shipped with a cord for a Model 2. Okay, well, we'll get into that later with the Model 2 Genesis, but let's just take a look here. This cord will not fit a Model 1 Genesis. So you have to track down this. This cord, this plugs into the 32X, and this in the back to a Model 1. So let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. This is a very uncommon cord. It is actually pretty rare, and it's sort of expensive. Alright, so here's the cord. Now, that's not bad. You know, I can live with that. The cord is stiff, but it is flexible enough to be able to adjust. Now, we have this. This is the AV cord that goes to the TV. Now, it's shipped with the 32X. However, the end of it only has one audio end. You know, instead of having the red, white, and the yellow, it simply has the red or the white and the yellow, which means that you'll be playing in mono. And that in itself is the reason I play on the Genesis Model 1, because even though it does add an extra cord, and trust me, adding an extra cord to the 32X is never good, this plugs in to the front of the Genesis right here, giving me stereo. So now I can use the yellow cord from the back of the 32X and these two, and I will have stereo. Okay, so you've got the console hooked up, but you have no power. Here is the power adapter to the 32X. It is the exact same power adapter that will fit on a Model 2 Genesis and a Game Gear. So if you have one of those lying around, you do have the right power supply. And then here is the Model 1 Genesis power. There it is, guys. It is functionally hooked up to a Model 1 Genesis. And look at this in the back. All these cords. 5 different connecting points, not including the front of the TV. It is a mess. And if you think this is a mess, let's take a look at how it hooks up to a Model 2. Alright guys, so here is the Model 2 Genesis. The Model 2 was the version of the Genesis that was popular, mainly when the 32X was released. So this is mainly the console it was designed for, technically, although it does look better on the Model 1. So you can't just simply plug the 32X into the Model 2 Genesis. You have all this extra space between it, and it causes it to be flimsy. Well, the Sega 32X is packaged with this. This device slips, how does it go? Right here. Slips right on the 32X. It's actually a spacer, and now it fits flush with the Genesis. This, to me, looks slightly more unattractive than it does on the Model 1. If you look at the Model 1, it sits flush with it. Here, we have this spacer, so it looks more like a mushroom, and that's why a lot of people refer to it as the Sega mushroom or whatever they want to call it. But nonetheless, it does fit fine. Now, here is the side port. Now, it has this little red slip. Do not remove. Well, we're going to remove it, and we're going to put this in. Now, again, it's supposed to help the Sega 32X run better. Does it? I don't know, but it doesn't hurt to put it in. So that's in. Now, you have to get this cord. Now, this cord is also uncommon. It's not as rare as the cord in the to hook up to a Model 1 Genesis or Mega Drive if you're in Europe or anywhere else in the world. But it is nonetheless uncommon, and a lot of people lose it. So this plugs into the back of the Genesis AV out, or AV in, and back of the Genesis Model 2 as well. Okay, now from there you have the audio visual that goes to the TV. Plugs into there. You have the power adapter for the Model 2, which I do not have out right now because I do not use the Model 2. I use the Model 1. And then you have your power adapter for this. So let's just pretend that. Okay, it's just as many hookups as the Model 1. This cord is longer than the one used on the Model 1, and it will play in stereo, or in mono. Now, you can get a cord for this that does come, that will play in stereo, but it's not the one that came with mine. So I did have to purchase an extra cord, and I use it for my 32 or my CDX, so I don't use it here. So now that we have the system hooked up, we're ready to play some games. Well, let's take a look at the game. Now, the 32X came out late in the Genesis lifespan, so it is shipped in the cardboard cases, the ones that slide up, a lot like these. In fact, it is the exact same case, aside from the color difference, and they appear to be slightly smaller, as skinnier. And here is the cartridge. Also, the manuals are printed in black and white. Nonetheless, trying to save money, I would assume. So here's the cartridge, and it fits plumply right in there. You know, it is quite ugly, but it does fit. Now, like I said, this also works with a Genesis cart. Works fine. And it will also, although there are some compatibility issues, work with these. Sometimes people can't get these to work. I've had no trouble. Alright, and that is the Sega 32X. Now, it is a pain to hook up to a degree. There are a lot of cords. But I think you'll realize that once you plug it in and set it up, it's really not a bad console, and I think you deserve to give it a chance. So let's look at some gameplay, guys. Alright, guys, here is the Sega 32X. This is Knuckles Chaotix. This is, some say it's the best and one of the only reasons to get a 32X. It's definitely one of the best games, there's no question. But there are other reasons to get a 32X, and I'll explain that later. Basically, all this game is a, we'll just start a new game. It's sort of like a glorified Sonic. It's, this is just the beginning stage, but in the game, you take control of two characters connected by basically a rubber band. It adds to the gameplay, and it's not just your average Sonic game. So it's different than, say, Sonic 1, 2, or 3. Here you go. You can see it here. I'm connected to, I don't know her name. There are a bunch of new characters in this game. And it does tell you their name, but I just do not know what the name is. Alright, we're going to go ahead and skip practice mode. Okay, now, that was a power-up, which makes her big. Now, the controls are pretty simple. C is your jump button. Whoops. C is your jump button. And I don't know what she's doing. Oh, whoops. There we go. C is your jump button. B is a button you press, which causes your other player to stand still. Now, you have to use it to open some doors like this one here. And then you have to play as Knuckles, and then you run, and the door opens. Now, the controls are simple, kind of. They do get confusing later when it comes to, like, jumping up different levels and things. So there is that aspect. Now, a question I had was, why exactly does this have to be on the 32X? There's really nothing. It looks great for a Sonic game, sure, but there's really, I don't see anything done here so far that couldn't be done on a Genesis itself. And I don't know if I'll get to it, but you'll see why later, because there are bonus stages that are actually in 3D, and that I believe that's where the 32-bit comes into play. Okay, here it is, guys. I didn't think I'd get there, but here is the 3D stage. You have to collect spheres. I have to collect 4, I believe. These blue spheres. There's 1, yep, 4. This is actually pretty fun. Now, this could be a game almost on its own. It would get repetitive, I would say, but it's not bad. It's pretty fun. It's at least a nice change of pace, and that's really where this game shines. This is a change of pace. It's not just another Sonic game. I feel like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, though they're all different and each adds a new element, they're somewhat the same game, just with different characters or something. Knuckles Chaotix is completely different, and that's one of the glories, I think, with it. This bonus stage is a lot like the bonus stage in Sonic 2, where you have to run through the thing and get collect a certain amount of rings. Except this one is a little bit easier, I feel, and it's a lot more fun. That one is just tries to be cheap and get you to hit stuff and knock out all your rings. This one's at least very fair and definitely fun. Whoa, and I've died. Course out, too bad. Alright guys, so that is Knuckles Chaotix on the 32X. Now I'm going to give my final thought. Alright, so there you just saw some gameplay of Knuckles Chaotix. We took a look at hooking up the console, and we did a little history on the console. So overall, what do I think? Well, overall, the Sega 32X was a failed experiment, nonetheless. But we have to give Sega some credit, because they did try something different. Is it worth picking up today? I would say yes. Now, the reason I say yes is because now it's just cheaper. It's not as expensive when it first came out. When it first came out, it was over $100. I think it was more around $150. And it just simply, then it probably wasn't worth it. But now that it's cheaper, and you can probably get one, for around $30, maybe $40. Depends on where you get it. It's worth it, I'd say. Now, some of the games that you need to get, there are only about 40 or 45 games made for the system. And some of the games that you need to get are, first and foremost, this game, Knuckles Chaotix. You need to get Knuckles Chaotix. It's on eBay for outrageous prices. Do not pay it, I'm going to tell you right now. Unless you have that kind of extra money, they're asking around $50 for a cartridge a lot of the time. I would not pay that. I tell you what, go to a disc replay, and I got mine for like 15 bucks there. They're fair with their prices. Go there and get one, or do what you want, but just my thoughts. Another good game is Fred Couples 36 Holes Golf. That's a great golf game. Some other games you want to pick up, Doom is a good one, Afterburner. Go to the site Sega-16.com. Sega-16.com. I'll put a link in the description. They have great reviews of Genesis, CD, and 32X games. So check out there, and they'll pretty much give you the lowdown. Some of the reviews are a bit off, but they have, people can review as well, aside from just the people that run the site, guys. So overall, pick up a 32X at a good price, and make sure it works and comes with all the cords, because if it doesn't, it can be very costly to get it fixed, first off, and very costly to get the cords. So this is Cobra, guys, and thanks for watching my review of the Sega 32X.